Good evening and welcome to the Buckland Select Board meeting of Tuesday, March 10th. It's 5 p.m. and we'll call this meeting to order. Our first appointment is for 5 o'clock. We have a poll hearing for Eversource and Verizon for Conway Road. Do we have to open a poll hearing?
I would say
for that?
probably.
Okay, I will make a motion to open a hearing for Eversource polls.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we have a representative here from Eversource or Verizon?
Eversource.
Eversource, okay. If you could slide up just to the microphone, because that goes through our TV. You are looking at,
What's your name?
My name is Jose.
Jose. Thank you, Jose.
Thank you for having me.
and you are looking at replacing poles, putting new poles in?
Both. We actually are rebuilding a section where we are installing new midspan poles and also replacing old poles.
Okay. Now, when you go around, off the question, but the question, when you go around and look at your pole and they put a plastic brown thing on the bottom of it, does that mean the pole's not any good, or?
Oh no, it is like it looks like a dark brown.
Yes,
Like a not a plastic, but like a cover, right?
Yes.
No.
Underground
That's
service, isn't it?
yeah.
Oh,
Exactly.
is that what it is?
Yeah.
Underground.
Some places have them, some places don't. Like I
Yeah.
think New Hampshire. No, never mind. New Hampshire Duke area.
Okay.
So I think it depends on the town and the city.
Well,
So this is basically an upgrade then?
Yes. So they're actually upgrading the conduit for spacer cable, and spacer cable is a stronger conduit. Is so strong that if a branch lands on it, the branch will snap and not the cable. But again, depending how thick the
Yeah,
branch
yeah,
is,
oh,
of
yeah.
course. But they're one of our strongest conduit. So
You always see around the roads sometimes that have been redone, the wiring there, or
can you repeat that? Sorry.
sometimes you see now, it's like they're double, I don't know if I'm not explaining.
Is it like a diamond shape?
And then the wires look stronger than, do you know what I'm talking about? You see it on some of the roads that have been replaced, the wiring for the electrical.
Yeah.
It seems like a stronger,
Like a thicker wire.
Yeah.
Normally, it depends. It all depends. So, for example, if you see the construction where there's a T and then you have the 3 wires,
yes.
that's the standard. Spacer, what it does, it grabs all 3 conduit and puts them in one side of the pole. And
Okay.
then they create like a diamond shape, so it's super strong. Not only is the conduit stronger, but like because of the shape of the diamond, when a branch hits it, it has all the support of all of them together.
So basically, it looks like all of these poles are starting pretty much at Gardner Falls and heading towards the Conway line.
Correct.
That's where all of the new poles and replacement poles are gonna be located.
Yeah, and the red dots are normally new poles. The blue ones are the poles that are existing, correct.
Okay.
But we're still replacing some of them.
Yep.
As long as they meet standard, which is minimum of 45 feet. And also they need to be no greater, the span cannot be no greater than 200 feet.
Right.
It all depends. They're pushing for this to be done by the end of this year. So hopefully the fall around that time. If for some reason they are very busy and they cannot get to it, then they'll reschedule it for next year, springtime. It all depends when the ground is soft or when it starts.
most of the time when there's a power outage, it comes from this line here, coming from Conway to here.
And that's the reason why they're switching.
That's what I wondered, yeah.
Yeah, they're also installing GOABs, so they're low breaks. So it's basically a break in the conduit. So for example, if a branch hits it here, it will do a low break, so anybody from this point on won't get affected.
Oh,
Yeah, so then the power would change polarity, so instead of coming from this side, it will come from the low side or the source sides, depending.
especially this is the area that usually, it's like,
Yeah.
I live in that end of town and it's always, you come down street and all the lights are on down here or something, but, so that's good.
Yes,
That's good.
yes. And we are, I actually called to install it on pole 27M, so it's very close to the Conway town line.
Yeah.
So it will help everybody in this town, in this side of the town.
Great.
How many poles is it?
I guess at 10.
10 new
It's on the
poles.
first page, I believe. It's on the, kind of on the bottom of the first page.
Yeah, 10.
So it's 10 new poles plus the ones that you're just replacing?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
I think there are a few poles that they're brand new and they meet standards, so we're not touching
Right.
those.
Yeah, it's not counting replacement poles. It's
Correct.
10 brand new poles going.
Correct.
Alright, we'll, make a motion to grant the application for, the installation of 10 new poles for, South Street and Conway Road.
I'll second that.
Any further? All in favor?
Aye.
Alright, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. If you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to email me. You have my email.
do.
So send me an email and I'll be gladly to help you.
Thank you so much for your help so
And
far.
thank you guys. Really nice town. I really like this town.
Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
you guys
is.
helped me so much earlier.
I hope you
So-
enjoyed your killing time moments.
I did.
Good.
I went around, did some
Good.
sightseeing.
Well,
so-
come back and visit us again.
Yes, thank you.
And take care.
We'll, make a motion to close the poll hearing.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. We've got a few minutes. Emily? Do you have everybody here that's coming?
I think so. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. I'm a few minutes early, so there's some other stuff we can do if you've got people you're waiting for, so.
I think these were the only people who definitely said they were gonna
All
come,
right.
so.
Well, then we will move into our 5:15, a few minutes early. We have Emily Devoto.
Devoto.
And,
here
and
to-
if you just take a minute to tell me who else is here, just so I can add it to the
This is,
record.
I'm Sharon
Yep.
Alford, Ashfield Street.
Yeah.
Andrew Ackenbach.
Okay.
I'm Cheryl Huber from my neighborhood also.
Is Cheryl with an S? C. Okay. And you are?
Marcus from Rockville.
All right, welcome.
Great. Thank you neighbors so much for bringing me here today. I mostly wanted to just put in a plug for municipal composting. There are only 2 towns left who are set up to do so in Franklin County, so it's Buckland and Ashfield. And I've been in touch with Amy from the solid waste office, the county solid waste office, who helps organize these things. And I'm not, it may be part of their budget, but I'm not prepared to speak to finances today. But just in overall, why we need municipal composting, because everybody eats. And in the process of preparing food and eating, everybody produces some kind of food waste. And somewhere along the way, there's gonna be uneatable scraps, bones, et cetera, and packaging that may or may not be recyclable. But it should never go into regular trash. And that's because when food waste gets wrapped up in plastic and put in the landfill without access to oxygen, it undergoes anaerobic decomposition. And that produces methane, which is one of the most potent greenhouse gases. And methane from landfills is known to be one of the major contributors to global climate change. It's much more potent than carbon dioxide, and it's really a lever that we can easily control at the local level through composting. We personally moved across the river 2 years ago from Shelburne, where they were just setting it up. All it is a little shed with 4 bins in it, and there's a hauler that the county organizes that takes it away and creates compost out of it. And I mean, a lot of people in a rural area are probably already composting, but there are qualifications and limitations. I mean, in our community, we had a bear going through our compost. And even those plastic composters that you can get are not really bear proof. And it's just been really kind of difficult to figure out what to do with all of our composting. Like, you can put the vegetable matter in the compost bin, but what about the chicken bones, and what about the dairy? So we really missed that year of municipal composting that we had in Shelburne. And I just feel like it shouldn't be this complicated to be able to do the right thing and keep food waste out of trash. And I look forward to working with the town to make sure that we can, I think contractor-wise, we're almost there. There's just a couple of dots that need to be connected for it to move forward, plus the educational aspects of it, which would be important. Any questions?
So who would be in charge of pickup and disposal of this?
Well, there would be a shed located at the transfer station, and I think the hauler are the party that would be responsible for at least picking it up.
So we actually, Jan is here from the solid waste district.
I know, we talked about
With a few solid waste items on tonight's agenda, so
glad you're
Jan
here.
is here.
I'm gonna slide in, because I can, yeah.
Rather than guessing, we do have the source here.
Solid waste night here.
I'm Jan, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Jan. I'm the director of the solid waste district, and I work with Amy Donovan. And I've been communicating with Pam about getting pricing. So we did help Shelburne and Charlemont set up their composting program. Part of the reason, they're good, they are using a vendor, they're using the compost co-op, so they do have a shed and carts. I did get pricing for the town from compost co-op and from Triple T Trucking, which uses dumpsters. Well, it's not Triple T anymore. It used to be Triple T. It's now Casella. They use a dumpster, and so they're picking up in Coleraine. And part of the reason why we couldn't get Buckland, why we weren't here before now, and we were able to set up in Shelburne, is because nobody wanted. The vendors were not willing to come out. We're in Buckland, but the transfer station is basically on the Ashfield line. So. Casella is now willing to come out, Compost Co-op was willing to come out. And obviously the pricing for a dumpster, so there's trade-offs. The dumpster pricing is less because they're just coming in a truck picking up compost around the community. And we can talk about pricing, what their pricing is, but in general, as Emily said, it is a great service to community, to your residents. It's going to reduce kind of the wet, stinky stuff that goes in. About 25% of trash is food waste, if not more. And so it's gonna reduce that and transfer it into a dumpster or carts. And then we're really fortunate because we have Martin's Farm in Greenfield, which is a commercial composting operation. They're still in business, which is great, they're still operating, so all of our local food waste goes there. And as Emily mentioned, we can accept more in this program than a backyard compost bin, so you can put meat and bones in, you can put things like egg cartons, you can put in, different kind of paper products that aren't recyclable. And the reason I wanted to come here is because some of you may be familiar with the Recycling Dividend Program, RDP, where the town I help the town jump through a lot of hoops, we do a lot, and then DEP gives you, I think, $7,800 a year now. So if you implement a composting program at the transfer station, you would be eligible for another $600 of that funding, which could go, and that fund can be used to pay for this program, 100%. So however you want to set it up, you could tap that fund, the RDP fund, to pay for all of these expenses. Some towns they offer to give out little kitchen compost pails, which we could buy for the town, and that can be used to purchase through the RDP fund. So I brought a couple of handouts so you can see what can go in if you're interested in knowing what the list is, or just kind of tag team with Emily here about questions or how much detail you want tonight versus.
I'm assuming the cost is something you're interested
Right.
in.
And my question is, like, you have these sheds, but where do they come from, or was it,
Right.
and
So-
what's the cost associated with that?
Yeah, so part of the reason, because, as you know, the transfer station site is pretty small. And so, it worked to put a shed in, Shelburne because there were two towns sharing it. And that vendor, the vendor that they're using, Compost Co-op, is awesome. They're a really wonderful local organization, and we use them in other communities, they pick up in other communities. But you do need a shed because they're just using carts. And so when Pam and we were thinking, I did get pricing from them, but it would mean some kind of shed, or you'd need another chain link cage, like your propane tank, like you could put them in there with a cover. But to keep the expense down initially, what I'm recommending is working with Casella and getting a 2-yard dumpster like they have in Coleraine. They will put a bear-proof lid on, which is not plastic, but it's metal, so bears can't. There's just seeing a picture of a bear in the Irving School dumpster, trash dumpster. So they just step on the plastic covers and, they're in, and then they get to do it any want. So a 2-yard dumpster with a bear-proof lid, I got pricing for bi-weekly, so what I would recommend is to start, if you were gonna go forward, we would start with bi-weekly, depending on the time of year. That would be $80 a month, so $960 a year. They tend to get very popular. So in Coleraine, we had a 2-yard dumpster bi-weekly, and we ended up, after, I don't know, maybe 6 months, going to weekly pickup because it was filling. The weekly price is $170 a month, so that's a little over $2,000 a year. We recommend that in the summer, it's weekly, because you can imagine when it's really hot, some of the weather we had last year, when it gets to be over 100 degrees and things get a little rank.
That's when we're happy the
So-
dump is that far away.
Right, right, that's why it's on the Asheville line.
Right.
So anyway, and we can work with Casella and say, okay, we want bi-weekly through the winter months. This is what some towns do, is they do bi-weekly through the winter months when it's basically freezing in there, depending on how popular it is, and then you can switch to weekly. So, basically $1,000 to $2,000 a year. The town currently has about $9,500 in their RDP fund. You're gonna get, like I said, another $7,800 at the end of this calendar year. There may have been more expenses since the end of December, but there's certainly enough funding to start this. The thing about the extra $600 is, it has to be, to get the $600 for the next payment, it has to be in place by really the second week of May. So, If you wanna move forward, you have the, I think you have the funding, you could do it. Amy at my office is the compost queen, so she would come out and we would have flyers for people. You could help get you some details that we would work, to help do the education, so, you know, you wouldn't be calling on the attendants.
And to deal with this company, you said it was named Casella?
Casella, yeah, they're huge
And
trash.
so is that something that we would have to do to set that up, if we choose that route?
I would probably work to connect Pam and John Volpe, the manager from the Westfield office. So, you know, just an email saying Buckland's ready to start. I emailed him and said, are you willing, are you capable of picking up in Buckland? He said, yes, I got the pricing. So you would have a kind of service contract with them. But, you know, I would certainly be involved in that.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think it's definitely something we can certainly look into. We'll have to see where we're at with the money that we have up there. 'Cause with what we have left over, does that count with what we just spent on the new shed that's up there?
No, that shed was from last year's
Yeah.
Okay.
funds, so we are fresh again.
It was 9,500 as of December 31st, because I have to report on a calendar year, so.
Yeah. No, we have that funding now. The only question is, we haven't started tapping into that to pay the differential that we're allowed to pay for the hauling or the
Right,
recycling.
recycling processing.
So we haven't had to do that yet, so,
Right.
but, you know, but we do have the funds
Add
now.
that to the list.
I mean, funds are tight, no matter what you're talking about, but, in this situation, I think, you know, the $600 that we would be receiving additionally every year for our RDP could offset that cost a bit as well, so,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I don't think, like, tonight I'm ready to vote on something like this. I just wanted to sort of take in all the information, so we can kind of go back and see what the actual cost would ultimately end up being. It's already a very hard budget season, so,
It's a great idea.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great
I mean, I
idea.
think it's a fantastic idea. It's just whether or not we as a town can afford it. That's, I think, ultimately
Right.
the big takeaway on it. So, I think we have to, we'll need probably another, well, if we ever get our numbers back from the schools, to see where final numbers are gonna start rolling in and get our other figures for the recycling and, find out how much we actually have in that coffer. And go from there.
And I
with it.
keep track of what the town has spent in the past. I mean, the thing about the RDP funds is it doesn't expire. It's not a calendar year fund, a grant, so it rolls over.
Right.
And so you're able to pay for that shed because you had like
Right.
$26,000 built up.
right.
Or something, I don't know, maybe it's $20,000. So, you know, if you have 9,500 now and you spend 3,000 or 4,000, you're gonna get another 78, 84,000, in January, and that
400.
just,
8,400.
8,400.
I'm like, 84,000 would be great.
I like that, yeah. I'm gonna hold it to the first number.
Right now, 84,000. I'll just let you have those, that's a list of.
Thank you, okay.
Can I ask
Folks can-
a question? Is,
Yeah.
is there any, I mean, we have some, reclaimed lumber, various kinds lying around, and we definitely have people with carpentry skills. I mean, is there a possibility of, donating a shed? Would that be helpful to the finances?
Well, it would save the shed, but the compost, and I didn't bring their numbers, but the compost co-op is, I think $25 a cart per week, and we figured out you'd need 2 carts, so that would be, like $200.
Also, the space up there is,
Maybe
I think we were
$200 a
thinking the
month.
dumpster situation would be less of a space situation, I feel like, when we were talking, but
Yeah, I mean, without,
I mean, a shed has to have a little bit of a foundation. You just can't build a wooden building on bare ground, you know, and so it's, I mean, I'm a big fan of recycling. I do it myself, but when it involves money, we have to think about it and, you know, look at the numbers and everything like that. And you know, we can't make it like right now,
Sure.
make a decision,
Yeah.
okay?
Well, what I was gonna say is we can go back and look at what are the other expenses, you know, do you use that for your hazardous waste budget, do you use it for your lamps, your recycling, and then see where the buffer is. You know, between now and June, or April and June, that'd be 200 and, am I doing my math, $80 a month, times 3, $240. You know, there's definitely that. I think it would just be the continuation year to year. So I'm happy to work with Pam tomorrow, or, you know, next week we can put something together for your,
yeah.
for another
I mean,
agenda.
that's a big thing is, you know, we also wanna try not to, we can't really tap that money out every year, because we do have to have some coffer, because if the compactor goes, that's kind of what we,
Yeah, that's a
you know.
different, the trash so the RDP funds will only pay for waste reduction, recycling related, you can't buy a trash
Mhm.
compactor with it. But you also have recycling revolving fund money.
maybe that's what I'm
I
thinking of
don't know
then.
what,
The
yes.
RDP is pretty, there's a lot of things you can do with it,
Right.
but it's
It's
fairly
more
restrictive.
Yeah, but I don't know, I used to track the revolving fund, I don't know if you know what's in your revolving fund.
Not off the top of my head.
So you really have two pots of money that
Yeah.
can be used, for things like this, or for the transfer station and,
Yep.
you know, but anyways, happy to work with Pam and these folks and come up with a plan and
Sounds good,
come back with something so you can think about it.
excellent. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know if you folks want
Before you let Jan go, and I know that you have your next appointment here, but there were a
They can
couple
wait.
other things.
They're
Bye.
early.
There were a couple other things that are Jan adjacent
I know,
on
do
the
you want
agenda.
me to stay?
Yeah,
Okay.
why don't you stay right there, and maybe they'll just, while you're here, I'm
Okay.
assuming we could maybe jump to that.
Okay,
It was basically this sustainable
something related?
purchasing
What are
policy.
we jumping to?
yeah.
C under agenda
Thank you so
items,
much.
and
Thank you.
E under agenda items.
You can encourage it when it comes from the president, it's great.
All right, so since Jan is here, we'll jump over to one of our agenda items for adopting the sustainable purchasing policy.
Yep.
You want me to give the background?
Sure.
Okay.
Since you're here, that's great.
This is actually an RDP requirement. The towns many years ago adopted a buy recycled policy, which was long ago, we're talking 1990, requirement for DEP grants. And that basically was, you know, instructing staff to purchase things with recycled content. Now DEP wants you to kind of bump it up, so it's called the Sustainable Purchasing Policy, or environmentally preferable, EPP, environmentally preferable purchasing policy. And it incorporates some of the stuff that was in your buy recycle policy, like it's just encouraging people to go to state contracts to buy things that have recycled content, or to find things that aren't, that can go into surplus, you have surplus property, use the surplus property. The state surplus property program. I'm forgetting what the other 4 things are on there, but, because I didn't know it was on the agenda, so I didn't bring my copy. I don't feel like it's onerous. It's basically saying that the town supports
Purchasing the
sustainable
products.
purchasing, environmentally sustainable purchasing. If you don't know about state contracts, there's thousands of things on state contracts, it's really an awful thing. So DEP has now said, if you want that 78 or $7,800 or $8,400, that you need to update to this policy. So that's
course
why
they
we're
did.
here.
Yeah, so here it is, it's in your folder, so you just have to adopt
And
that.
this is the shortest and sweetest version we could get approval for.
All right. So that's this sustainable purchasing policy.
Yeah, you would just have to make a motion to adopt that.
Make a motion to adopt the new sustainable purchasing policy.
I'll second that.
Further? All in favor?
So,
And then the last item is the district repair event, and you wanted sort of feedback from our participation.
yeah, so, we got grant funding last year from DEP to do a countywide repair event. We held it at the tech school, Franklin County Tech School last May, where we had citizens and tech school students come and teachers come and fix things. So people came in with broken chairs and broken lamps and broken electronics and whatever, mending. It was really awesome. But I realized that, you know, the tech school's out there, and we didn't really get a lot of West County participation. I think one person from Rowe came. And so I wrote another grant, got some funding to do more, what I'm calling is like a more local, multi-town repair events. And the idea is, you know, people have broken things they hold on to. I don't know about you. You have broken things and you're like, I don't want to throw this out because it just needs a new switch, or it just needs, the leg needs to be glued. And so the idea is to really encourage people to bring their broken things to these repair events and get them fixed. So this particular grant is looking at setting one up in West County towns. And then we would do the Conway, Deerfield, Whately, Sunderland towns, and then the Quabbin, you know, the Eastern County towns. So I sent an email out a week ago, maybe just saying, you know, is your town interested, and do you have ideas of town committees, you know, if you have like a sustainability committee or an energy committee that might want to participate, or do you know folks, some towns have like non-government groups that are doing this kind of work and might be interested. So I'm really trying to build a community engaged repair event that can be repeated year after year for local communities, so people don't have to go to the tech school. So that's the question is, you know, do you folks want to participate? I realize that we would probably include, you know, not gonna stand at the door and say, oh, you're from Buckland, no, you can't come in. But it would be nice to have participation, at least in the beginning, whether it's Pam or someone else, just to say, hey, here's a great place to have it, Mohawk High School, but here's a great place to have it, or here's maybe a good time of year, or like our citizens really want this. Like we're looking to see if you want to engage in the planning process, so that we can gear it to your communities and not just, you know, have it be what we think it should be.
Who does the repairs?
We have an awesome group of fixers. You wouldn't believe, it's a subculture. We had a bunch of fixers, we call them fixers, of all ages at the high school, at the tech school, and the people that are, so I hired 2 people to work on this because I can't do 3 more repair events, and everything else. And they actually have like 145 people in Western Massachusetts on their whatever, you know, their,
Oh my
their
goodness.
group. So people are really, it's kind of a thing now. People are really excited about it. There's two different ways. One is the model we're doing where we have fixers come, and they're all volunteers, and people bring their broken stuff. And then the other model is people learn, like Wendell got funding, so they're gonna teach people how to fix, they're basically gonna have workshops where they will teach you how to fix your table, or they'll teach you how to fix your, you know, zipper, or, so
Cool.
it's very exciting. It's a really different thing than just, you know, what I've been doing for 30 years. It's like, wow, this is really great.
Sounds
So,
very useful to me.
I'd love to have your, you know, the participation is really at this point just engaging and helping us figure out how to build this community database of interested folks.
I think that's gonna be a good question for Pam. Do
Hey.
you have enough irons in the fire yet?
I mean, there's definitely plenty of irons in the fire, but this feels fairly doable, I think. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think, you know, what we're looking at is maybe one initial meeting where we have folks, and, you know, whether it's you or somebody else in town who's just because I don't know your communities, these folks I hired, they're not gonna know West County
Right,
towns,
right.
so, you know, we have like Holly and Heath and, you know, to get input, so we can have a sense of, what's best.
Mhm.
So, I think it's pretty minimal in the beginning, and then, you know, maybe there'll be a core group of folks who will do more of the planning.
So do you find the location, or do you reach out, like if you're gonna do Mohawk Trail, you would reach out to the school?
Yeah, we would do all of the planning and coordination, so what we're looking for now is just town participation in helping us identify, I don't know, are there nonprofit groups, like there's the Bridge of Flowers group, but, is there another group in Shelburne Falls who would be, you'd say like, yeah, there's the Screen Club, or the Bike Club would wanna do it. So
Yeah, baseball would be
I don't
safe.
know your local.
We should have had the group that was just sitting behind
That's right,
you.
well, those folks, right? Right?
So yeah, we could definitely put something into Town News to gather interest, for sure.
Yeah.
And I assume you've reached out to Shelburne as well.
Yeah, I reached out to all of the West County
Okay.
towns. I mean, the other thing is, we're looking at senior centers, council on aging, like, do those folks, are those folks potential fixers?
We need to be
A-
fixed,
a
those
lot.
people.
Yeah. So anyways, we could talk about it, but I think at this point, it's just kind of gathering
Yeah.
the troops to
It's
say,
a good idea.
hey, can we build this for your West County, and what should it look like?
Sounds good.
Fix
Yeah.
the budget, is that what you're thinking, Larry?
We could round up some accounting.
There we go. It's fine with me if you guys are on board, so,
Yeah, no,
I
I
think
think
it's-
it's a great idea.
okay.
Definitely.
All right.
Thank you so much,
Okay.
Dan, for coming.
Thank you. Well, I have 3 for 3, or 2.5 for 3. All right, you folks have a
We'll
good
be in
evening.
touch.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
About programs we don't have to pay for right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bring it on.
I'd love to know the young people bring that.
All right. I'll let you guys wait an extra 6 minutes, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
I'm not.
I love standing here.
Right, so we have, you guys here from, the West County Baseball,
County Baseball
Association. Looking to utilize the cricket field, I'm guessing when the snow's gone at some point.
Yeah.
I guess. In July. For a cornhole tournament.
Well, thanks for having me. I talked to Pam for a while. So a couple things. Most of you know me, but I'm Tucker Jenkins. I'm the president of West County Baseball. I have been for 12 years. And these two distinguished gentlemen, that's Ruben Bassett and Todd Dubriel. Todd's been probably with me since the beginning, West County Baseball. Ruben, I used to coach, and now he's my right-hand man. So we're really fortunate. West County Baseball, I left you guys a packet. I think you guys have it, looks like, with a bunch of information. So I won't bore you to death with that. But essentially, West County Baseball, we've been in operation for 12 years. We offer baseball experiences for kids who are essentially all the way through high school, all the way down to like your 6th graders. Even at times we've had some 5th graders in our program. Typically, we have 60 to 80 kids enroll yearly. We've been a really strong, functioning baseball organization with great support. As a part of that, what we're trying to do is obviously raise funds. As you guys know, money is not, growing on trees. So things are getting increasingly more expensive for us in the baseball world. What we're trying to do is not have to raise our user premium. So for instance, when a child wants to play baseball, we have a user fee. We've roughly kept it around the same for 10 years or so. We don't want to go up, but obviously the cost for getting in the league is more expensive. Umpires are more expensive. Equipment's more expensive, you name it. As part of this, a couple of years ago, my good friend who passed away, Zach Turner, who well known to the town of Buckland, and I had talked about doing some fundraising opportunities. Part of that fundraising opportunity was doing a cornhole tournament, which we felt, one, all ages could participate, but as well, it'd be a great community event. Kind of went by the wayside, and I felt really moved this year that let's do it, let's get it done. So it's been an arduous task. So nonetheless, Zach's vision was to have it under the lights at Cricket Field, which would be a great, we know going to the Little League games and under the lights, it's a great community event. Why not do a cornhole tournament there? One, to raise money for West County Baseball. Also, part of the proceeds will go to Little League. The nuts and bolts of this event so far is that we're going to hopefully do it in the end of June, on Saturday, June 27th. Right now, the plan is to have 32 teams, so teams of two. Ideally, when I started this, I wanted like 50 to 60 teams. And then I'm no mathematician by any stretch of the imagination, but as we did the math, we realized we'd be there till 2 a.m. So, that's a no-go. So we ended up deciding to limit it to 32 teams. So we'll have all those folks there. And basically what it's going to be is each team, as of right now, will get a minimum of 2 games, so you're getting your money's worth. There'll be a little entry fee per team. Every participant will get a shirt. Essentially, it's going to be, Zach Turner Memorial Cornhole Tournament, West County Baseball. On the back, we're going to list all our sponsors, like you'd see in like a race T-shirt with all the sponsors that are going to be there. And then we're also really fortunate. I mean, I've been like really humbled. There's been so many community people who have reached out in the short time I've been planning this to donate stuff. I mean, it's almost overwhelming. Actually, just yesterday, I confirmed with a local company who's going to donate their services. The quick kind of overview of what we have so far in terms of what would behoove you guys is there's zero expense to the town of Buckland in this. So there you go. One of the things in particular, I did talk with Cindy Schwartz from the rec department. And thanks, Clint. And the rec department gave me their full blessing and support for the event. With the teams we're going to have, the cornhole boards are all going to be donated and made by Hilltown Hardwood Flooring. So Jared Missoula is going to make all the boards. We'll have a few sets that we're going to have logoed with our WC, our West County, from Jason Clark and Heath, who does the pinstriping on a lot of the bigger trucks. He's going to make the WC on those. Those will be raffled off and given as prizes and for sale. We're going to have food vendors at the event. We'll go through the permitting process with that, with the Board of Health, with FERCog, make sure they have their permits. It's going to be Kelly from Cliff Smoke and Backyard Barbecue, who's been ecstatic about this opportunity, and then Chad from across the river from Hot Fire, who's going to cook where Zach used to, out of the shack. So just basic stuff, burgers, that type of stuff. The other piece of it is we're going to hopefully have alcohol served at the event. Originally, we were trying to figure out how we wanted to do that. And I know this isn't necessarily, it's a little bit of a conversation for me, but the Shelburne Falls Eagles down the road here, with Zach being a member, really expressed desire to be the ones to apply for a one-day liquor license, obviously hopefully granted by you folks, and have a pouring for beer at the event. Outside of that, in terms of trash and stuff, because that's always a concern, especially if we're pouring, we got plastic cups, you name it, or in food. AGH, Adam Hosmer, has donated all recycling and trash pickup. So that's their donation, so that's taken care of. I'm in contact with a couple different businesses for porta potties. And speaking with Cindy, there's going to be one down there already that's there, which is ADA compliant. But we're going to make sure we have probably a couple.
I think a few would be nice.
Yeah. So we're not like, there's no line. That's the goal with that, right? So we're going to have that. Nick Brown is going to be there to do some emceeing. I'll be doing some of the emceeing. And we're going to have a little projector screen, which is going to show the kind of bracket so people know, where they're going. Part of the sponsorship form, in there it lists that folks or businesses can sign up for a set of cornhole boards. What that means is, you're going to play, instead of saying you're playing in zone 1, you're going to be playing on the, the Buckland Pizza, set. That business will have a little placard, and that's where you're going to go to kind of, one, bring promotion to businesses, but also easier for us to kind of label everything. The timing of the event, right now, we're hoping to kick things off about 3:30 in the afternoon. Doing the math, we should be done between 9:30 and 10 o'clock at night. The reason we're starting a little earlier than I originally wanted to, because obviously we wanted a lot of it under the lights, right? That was the point, is we don't want to all of a sudden be in a situation where things are running longer than we thought, right? And then we're there very late and then we get in trouble. So that's not going to happen. In fact, we actually think we've budgeted a ton of time because they're going to be timed games where they're not just going to be unlimited where they're going back and forth. We're going to have a time limit on it too. So it'll be done, be able to wrap up. I also talked with Chief Bardwell about the event. We kind of went back and forth about, in a good way, about how we wanted to do public safety at the event, stuff like that. we're gonna hire a detail officer for the event. So we're gonna hire an 8-hour detail, which will encompass the whole time for the event. So that's all set. That's been signed off and approved. And then parking is the other thing that was a concern. I will be talking with Jay Heilman right up the street here to see if we can, kind of like Little League, if we can use that area, the old Buckland PD, to park in there. We'll obviously have the Little League parking area. And then I'm going to approach Brad Walker at the mill to see if we can open up that area, kind of where they have that little trailer or whatever it might be, and open that up. So we'll have overflow parking there. We're also going to have a litany of volunteers. In fact, I probably have way too many volunteers, which is a good thing, that are going to help with the event. And all of, like I said, all that sponsor money is going to help us, get the shirts and do all that stuff. That's kind of the quick nuts and bolts. I don't know if I missed anything.
That's great.
Thank you. But that's the event. I mean, at the end of the day, we're going to kind of do a slow rollout of this, because knowing how many people have already talked to me about the event, with us trying to like kind of somewhat keep it under wraps, people want to sign up and participate, and we don't want all of a sudden, those 32 spots fill up like that, right? It would be a good thing, but we want to make sure that a community can really be involved, and that, people are there to watch, participate. And one of the things that Cindy did tell me is she was hopeful that this would be a yearly event. And I agree. I think that makes a great deal of sense. One, to honor Zach's memory. This is something he want. Oh, that's the other thing. I met with Zach's folks. So I met with Larry and Jeannie, and because I wanted to make sure it was okay to use his name, and they're ecstatic. I mean, we have their full support, and they're really moved by it. If you guys have any questions, happy to answer them. Even though I just beat the event to death, telling you exactly everything that's going on.
You got me tired now. Thinking,
Yeah, well, I'm exhausted myself.
think you stayed up till 9:30.
I'm still stuck on.
I'll have to
No
wreck.
expense to you.
You like that one.
Not to nowadays.
It was, I know Zach used to actually say that quite a bit though too. If it's free, it's for me.
Yep.
So, no, I actually even remember having conversations with Zach, about certain types of fundraising and the cornhole actually coming up. I think it's a fantastic idea. Coming right at the end of baseball season, so, yeah, I see really no downside to it.
I don't either. And the other thing, I don't know if I mentioned it, but, we're essentially going to break the proceeds down the middle. So 50% is going to come with us in West County baseball, which is kind of the older kids, right? Your 5th, 6th, and up. But we're also going to give some to Little League. So the younger kids are going to get that money too, because it's their field, and it only makes sense.
It's nice.
Sounds like a great community event.
It's going to be great. I mean, we're excited. I mean, obviously, if there's weather like today, we're ready to go. So it's
A little
fantastic.
bit of snow on the ground still, so.
And, we're fortunate. We've had a lot of support, a lot of good volunteers that are helping us and taking some of the weight off our shoulders and the organization part, and it's been great.
Sunsets at 8:34 p.m.
I know. See, well, I guess we'll start going later. We'll be there till 2.
Under the lights for about half an hour.
Yeah, for the end. Yeah.
All right, yeah, I mean, I would make a motion to allow West County Baseball to utilize the cricket field for June 29th,
27th.
27th.
Saturday the 27th.
I second that.
Any further? All in favor?
Hey,
Fantastic.
Get after it.
Thank you. Oh,
Make it happen.
we will. Back to work.
It's gonna be the easiest group of the season. Only gonna get better from here.
yeah. We got the next one. It's the budget committee, so. Yeah,
Oh, we're getting out of here.
I get out of here. Ruben, good to see you. Good things.
Committees are, right, Todd?
For you. Yeah, good for you.
Bye, Ruben.
We'll see you, Todd. Yeah.
The proceeds.
Yeah, we can do that. We'll just shovel it out.
All right, so we're almost back on track here. We gained 3 minutes on that. So we've got our 5:45 appointment, for the fiscal year 27 budget discussion with our representative from the Finance Committee, Larry Langford.
Talked to Pam earlier.
You wanna sit, you gotta sit over there for the TV.
You can roll it over there
I hear you.
for our viewers at home, Larry.
Pam's a believer in transparency. I'm a believer in translucency.
It's all good. It's all good.
You say that, but the numbers always come out.
Sure.
No, No, I talked to Pam earlier, and we decided that there's sort of two layers to this conversation. One is the immediacy of the FY27 budget, which we have been working on for the past
Weeks and weeks.
weeks and weeks and hours. And it's almost ready for prime time. There's about 3 or 4 numbers to chase down and verify to make it accurate. And hence, we're not going to be sharing precise data in this forum because it would be inappropriate because it's not quite accurate yet. But I thought it'd be helpful for you to hear from Pam with regard to the overall state of the game with respect to our plans for bringing this budget to the town for approval. And then also to share the second tidal wave that's approaching the beach here, which is the Franklin Tech project, which I missed my appointment after the February meeting to give you an update, but we have lots of things to update you on with that as well. So we're going to tag team on this.
Sure.
If that's okay.
Yep. So yes, exactly what Larry said. I mean, we're nearly complete with the budget. Most part, I would say we're fairly level funded on nearly most everything, with the exception of a few small increases, because as we know, everything is going up in cost. Some of the things that we've gone up a little more on are things that are sort of outside of our control. For example, we talked about the ADA compliancy issue with the website, that we need to now upgrade our website and deal with that situation, which is going to cost us a bit more. And there's a few other sort of outside similar scenarios that we're working through with some other departments. Truly, there's no luxuries in this budget. It really is necessities just to keep our town running and providing the services our residents have come to expect from us. And really, they're very basic. And I think that's where we're at. So we're really hoping to get everything reviewed. As you know, I'm also working with a brand new spreadsheet. We're still trying to fix some spots. Actually, this afternoon, I was working with our accountant and our treasurer on just making sure that all of our numbers are lining up, because, you know, we want to make sure this year we're right on the money, so to speak. I know Larry's going to speak a bit about budgets from the school. We did receive our Mohawk assessment, which has gone up over $300,000 over last year. That's a huge hit for us. And not that we're all doom and gloom, but I do feel that
Pretty doom and gloom.
pretty doom and gloom, yeah. You know, and that's what we've been sitting, you know, we had a finance committee meeting last week, another one this past week. Just basically trying to sort through it all and just figure out where we can make adjustments to continue to make sure our employees are being paid what their wages should be deserved based on, you know, this area. Making sure that we, like we said, we can just continue to give our residents the services that they deserve, honestly. And it's been it's a challenge. It's a fine balance between being respectful of people's budgets, because everything is going up. So I think we're really lucky. We have a great finance committee who's working through it too. And I think everyone's got the same goal in mind, is to get these numbers firmed up very soon. Obviously, we need to. Town meeting is quickly approaching. And of course, we have other things that Larry's going to speak about now that are on the not so distant horizon that we need to consider.
I'd echo a couple of things you brought out. One is we really want to keep our people. And that means a couple of things. One, we want to make sure that they feel like they're getting a reasonably fair shake, number one. Number two, selfishly, I don't want them to be poached. And so we're expecting in the next week or so another wage and comp study from FERCog, which will give us that data that we need to sort of buttress our argument about why we are doing what we're doing. This is a very, very tight budget. There is no fat anywhere you look. And the biggest component of it is the biggest increase is in education.
Yeah.
And educating our kids involves Mohawk, their assessment, their operating assessment, and their transportation. It involves Franklin Tech, their operating assessment and transportation. It involves Smith Voc. Smith Voc, we're told we have 2 more students,
Potentially.
potentially, which, with their transportation budget, which I talked about this morning with the OODVEAC, it's a $90,000 price tag.
Can I ask you a question about that? Okay, kids go to Smith Vocational because a major, or we'll call it a major, or a field of study is not offered at Franklin Tech. How do you ensure that that student still stays into that program and doesn't go to a program that is also offered at Franklin Tech?
That's on me. I check that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, like a hawk. And we have in a neighboring town, a student left midstream and returned back to the high school. So, and they're protesting, why should we pay any money for that? So there's a lot going on in terms of the education block. The biggest component of that is obviously Mohawk. I sat through the budget subcommittee that was working to bring it down as tight as it could. And for the first time in my career here, they were really seriously talking about cutting positions, which they did, and they brought it down to a little over 9% increase, which is dramatic. And it's, Paula Consolo, I wish you were here, because
Yes.
even she said, they've really done a good job of squeezing this as tight as it can be squeezed anymore, and we're going to see a lot of really sort of, it's like an earthquake when tectonic plates rub. They get a little more pressure, and then they just jump. So the next thing that has to happen with that budget, if you want to squeeze more, it's going to be a big shock.
What kind of positions were cut?
I don't remember offhand. There were
6 teachers and
Yeah.
12.8 paraprofessionals, and which is equivalent to just, if they got rid of 3 administrators,
right.
you would have 3 of those teachers back and half of those 8 in the classroom as they belong. Not don't get me going.
I know, and there was a lot of conversation about, for example, why do we need a principal in each school? Well, and Cheryl was quite eloquent about explaining that, and I would never even attempt to echo her words, but basically it's a really bad idea to not have a principal in each school building that's.
What other administrators do they have besides principals?
I don't know.
They have a lot.
I would love to have
Yeah.
information like that, because, you cut school aides, aides and teachers, that's the lowest, that's the ones that directly work with kids, but they also have a lot less salary than administrators.
Yeah, we can get all that for you.
Okay, thank you, I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
We can do that. And I think it might be worth spending a little more time explaining that in greater detail.
Yeah, thank you.
And we've actually had an opportunity to make it very clear that it's a very difficult assessment for us to afford.
Yeah.
And so they're aware of that, and they're aware of the consequences of the outcome at town meeting, which, if not favorable, it's going to be a big problem.
How many towns have to pass the budget for it to pass?
There are 14 units divided, 2 from the big towns and 1 in some of the smaller towns. I'm not,
If the towns don't have K through 12, they
Yeah.
get 1
Oh,
unit.
okay.
Towns
They
with
need
K
10.
through 12 are
they
2.
need 10 units. So if Buckland and Shelburne, they were just here, and 1 little one, they don't have what they need. They need 7, I think, for the,
It was a
if 7 said
majority.
no, that's, so,
So again, what is the total number of units?
I think it's 14
14?
divided into you know this better.
Yeah, I
than
can't remember exactly, but
14
which of
units,
it's,
and you need a majority? Is that,
It
I.
has
No,
to
they need 7
yeah.
pass.
to pass.
okay.
And so one of
Do
the,
we know what this 9.9% increase that they're bringing to us is?
say more. Do we know what's in that?
Yeah.
Yes. They have a very thorough FY '27 budget book that has more details than you would care to know about, but we can determine, if you're looking for a very specific thing, we can find it out.
Not really anything specific. I mean, that's just, you know.
It's not trust us, here's the number. It's
Right.
here's the data, and they're being very, very forthcoming with respect to what's in this budget.
And Paula has been following it
Yeah.
very, as we know, Paula
Yes.
follows it very closely, and she did say they have made a very valiant effort. I mean, she had said that.
Right.
I don't think there was a question necessarily about that, but it is still about the affordability for Buckland.
Right.
Were you going to talk about the meeting with Senator Mark at all yesterday? We did also, you had mentioned bringing people in, so I don't want to jump the gun if you've got that on your list.
Well, no, I will say that. I wasn't about to invoke his name without permission, but I will.
Well,
Employee makes the big bucks.
Yeah.
just to let them know that we have also extended this
He
conversation.
was in Buckland yesterday for a civics program at Mohawk and had a conversation with Cheryl and Martha regarding their request for some support for some of the money that would be applied to this R2, D2 study, I call it. It's D2, D8, 16, whatever the code is, so that the taxpayers don't have a burden on paying that. And I think that may have been successful. But we brought this to their attention, particularly because of the governor's request for $20 million for rural school aid. We were with both feet saying we want 60, which was in the original legislation that was passed, and which was cut to 12 and then dropped to 10 last year. So Governor Healy is in for 20 in their H2 legislation that's been filed, and he is pretty adamant about in the Senate and in the Education Committee of really going to bat for that. 20 translates to about $1.2 million, I believe, for Mohawk, which will go a long way to reducing their assessment. 56% of their revenues come from the towns. The balance comes from the state. So if we get more from the state, we get to shrink the amount from the town. So that was good news.
We don't have any representation in the House of Representatives.
Precisely. So we are really banking on our Senate legislators, including Joe Comerford, whose name I'll use again, because the other thing I was interested in talking to him about yesterday was whether or not he was aware of the Franklin Tech building project. And it was not really, and not surprising. I won't throw them under the bus, but I think their outreach so far has been pretty limited and has gone straight to the town. So I don't know how well they've been courting the legislators, particularly Senator Comerford and Senator Mark, who own the 19 towns, if you will, for that. So let me back up a little to report on the meeting I went to in February, which I was supposed to report back to. But that was the meeting at GCC, which was open to the public, and there was a pretty good turnout from many of the member towns. Mayor of Greenfield was there. There were people from Leiden, and a good community from Deerfield were there as well. It was our sense, I was there with Paula and Bruce, it was our sense that many in the room were hearing the details for the first time. And that was interesting. They did their same briefing that they had given here, which was explaining the need and how they looked at various options, including renovation and rehabbing for $70 million, and how that escalated as the cost magnified, and that it became clear that for their educational needs as well as for the building, that a $247 million new building was the option that they would pursue. that's interesting. In this conversation, I think we all need to be extremely clear. We really value Franklin Tech. We value vocational education. We think it's vital. It's done so much for so many. And we really think that this project, which would set them up for the next 50 years, is really a good idea. We just can't afford it.
Right.
And as we looked around the room and we looked at the data for that other towns would incur, I don't know how many other towns of our size could possibly afford the price tag for this.
I don't even think Greenfield could.
I'm thinking of Richie Neal's comment in February when we were talking to him about something. We were over at Berkshire East, and he said when he was mayor of Springfield, these votes would come up. And it was astounding how the public would vote for the education, not understanding the financial impact of the decision they were making. And so it's I think, I'm getting ahead of myself on here, but I think if people understood the economics of this, they would say, boy, it's a really good idea. We got to figure out another way to pay for it. And in that context, Senator Mark is interested in helping us understand the MSBA reimbursement, because we agreed that there's no magic money tree to shake. But Willie Sutton was asked, why do you rob banks? And he said, that's where all the money is. And so the only place where we saw some money that might be of value here is the MSBA. There was a portion of the rural education bill that was brought out of committee that included a 90% MSBA reimbursement for school construction. That was not in the version of the bill that was brought out from the committee, and we asked any way we can get to the MSBA to help understand why are they reimbursing the way they are. And just so you know what we're really talking about, this $247 million, they're going to come for a bonding bill in October 6th. That 247 rapidly increases when you think about 30 years of a bond at, let's say, 6%. If that is the number you want to use, it's about a $288 million fully paid project. And Buckland has a 2.85% share of that cost, which if you annualize that big number, it's about $275,000 a year in capital expense for the town of Buckland, which even though it's debt excluded, it still means we have to find the money to pay it. And I don't know where we would find that money sitting here right now. So we have a problem with being able to afford this project. Bruce Lessels asked a very good question at that meeting. If the bond funding doesn't pass, what will you do? Would you embark on a renovation and rehabilitation set of projects? And they agreed they would. And so he said, would you please give us a schedule of what projects will you take on first, second, third, how long will they last, and what's the price per year of those projects? They're working on getting us those numbers. We're calling that the $70 million option, which is something that I think we need to present to the town if it ever comes to this, in terms of saying for $70 million you get this, for $288 million you get this. Which one do you like? We'll see how that goes. The vote that they're planning to have is coming this fall, October 6th. There will be a vote of all of the member towns, all the residents of the member towns, to vote yes or no on this bond bill. If you think about that, voter turnout notwithstanding, just population dominance issues come to play here. You got Greenfield, Montague, Irving. Pick another big town in this mix. Deerfield. Yeah, those are the top four. You've got then the rest are like Buckland.
Conway and
Yeah, we're
Conway.
Conway, Shelburne, little
Yeah.
towns. It won't take much for this to pass
Yeah, no,
if the people don't understand what it's gonna cost. If we go on the emotion of funding vocational schools, which we love, if we go on the value of this project to fix the school, we'll say, great, and it would pass on that merit. But if they know the funding, I have to believe that towns wouldn't pass this vote. I don't know how to predict how the vote's gonna go. I've heard some knowledgeable people say, we won't pass. I'm not so sure. Richie Neal's voice in my head says people who don't know the data would emotionally commit to wanting to do this. It seems like a really good idea. And they'll all come and visit Pam with their tax bill in hand saying, "What? How come?" And so that's what's going on. We believe that it's prudent for us to have a plan in the event that this vote passes. So if the vote passes, then we have the subsequent town meeting in the spring of 27, where the town would vote to spend the money to pay the share. We got to figure out how we're going to navigate in those waters. And we don't know yet how to do that. We're figuring that out.
What's the actual vote? I mean, is it to
The
approve
vote
it
is
or-
a yes or no to approve a bond bill for whatever they're going to finance it at. I'm guessing
Yeah,
288
okay.
for the construction of a new building at Franklin Tech, for which they have specifications and all the drawings and so forth.
Well, I think we should have an informational meeting before that election.
I would hope you would say that, because that's exactly what we need to do. And I would hope that using the various media that we may have available, we could get the word out that this is a great idea, but we got to figure out a better funding model if it's going to happen. And our problem is our state funding has been relatively flat over the years, and our costs are continuing to rise at a faster rate. And so we're in this creeping, expanding financial hole every year. And so things like this are going to get harder and harder to consider. But I think that the state is the only resource we have to help us get out of this mess that we're in. So that's what we have.
You know, it makes it, when you have taxes keep going up, it makes it unaffordable for the average person.
It does. I had a conversation with a woman at the transfer station last Saturday on this, and it's something that we're really struggling with. How can we maintain the low tax rate increase that we've enjoyed for the past few years? I mean, the last time we went for an override, for example, we went for exactly the amount we needed because we didn't want to stress the community. We still feel that way, but I'm not sure we can afford to feel that way as we look at what's coming. And we have to decide as a community, what do we want? What really matters? And we look at police, education, culture, the pool, the things that we all enjoy and love. Where are we going to spend the money? And is it time that we step up and bit the bullet and did that? I don't know.
So this is a special election for everybody, which incurs a cost, right?
They pay for that.
They pay for the,
They're paying for the election. It's an option in the MGL. I have the MGL, but they could choose to do that as opposed to having the town's representation vote. So it's a roll of the dice for them, I think. So that's the long-term problem. Short-term problem sits over here. Between
Problem solver.
problem solver, a fixer, I think the word was.
So that's with the solid waste district.
Well, I agree with you guys. I think what we really just need to do is, you know, get this information out to people. You know, I know there's a lot of people in town that they don't attend town meetings, and you know, unfortunately, then Pam's tends to be the one that takes the brunt of it after, and, you know, I can't stress enough that, you know, people really need to show up and be part of these meetings
Families.
with, you know, because especially these next couple of years, there's a lot of large expenditures coming down the pipeline. And the last thing I want to see is our townspeople just feeling like they're getting blindsided, even though, you know, we're putting the offer out there to come and please be part of this,
Yeah.
and help us get through it, and help us figure out a way to get through it, without putting that much of a burden on here. I don't know how we do that, you know, other than, you know, getting Larry just to go door knocking. I think if you start now, you could probably get them all by town meeting.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at counting light poles. Maybe I could knock on doors.
That's why you're doing that.
Didn't argue back, late holder.
No, and I think if people did understand the math, and just, this is another,
I think it
Important.
would be inappropriate to do a presentation at annual town meeting, right?
I don't want to conflate the two topics of passing this budget and dealing with the Mohawk situation with the funding of a building for 17 of our
Okay.
kids. So there's a lot to talk about with regard to the economics of our participation in the Franklin Tech District. One of the options that towns have, according to the agreement, is if they don't want to pay for it, they don't have to be in the district. Thank you very much, and you pay out-of-district tuition. I found the number yesterday. The out-of-district tuition is the same per capita cost, is same as the per capita cost of what we're funding at Mohawk. It's the same as the per capita cost at Smith Voc. So it's not clear exactly what's the best play if this thing passes and we don't want to participate. But we'll be doing all of this analysis with you as this approaches it, because it's a big deal.
It is.
It potentially could crater us, and we need to
Yeah,
make people understand it.
$275,000 a year, you know, was for the town of Buckland.
For 30 years.
Plus our assessment.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right,
and by the
right.
way, the assessment of $350,000.
Oh, yeah.
On top of that.
Yeah.
That's for the operating, and then there's the capital.
Yeah.
So, you know, the game just gets crazy after a while.
That's okay. You just, I forgot about that. That's putting us, yep,
Yeah, and
over $500,000 easy. No, $750,000 every year.
And it becomes something of an existential question with regard to the community and the town. And we have to really take it seriously in that regard.
Yeah.
Because if we make a move one way or the other and it's the wrong move, we could really do some damage. And we want to make sure we're all holding hands and stepping off the cliff together on this. As we do that.
It's a high cliff, Larry.
Parachute.
Thanks, you made such a cheerful presentation for us.
How about them Red Sox, huh?
Celtics.
Yeah. So we will get you details on I think, the Mohawk budget in particular.
I would like to know what their, you know, their
Right. What's in there? What
kind
is
of setup they have for all
I'll
their,
take them, Larry.
Okay,
yeah. Yes, please.
They're not for the public record yet.
no.
Okay?
Thank you. Thank
Thanks for your hard work. Looking out for our town.
Well, it's,
We know how much you guys put into this, every single year. And I know I can speak on behalf of the board that we truly do appreciate the amount that you guys put into putting these budgets together every year for us.
this one's working her heart out. She
Yeah.
wonders, what
Oh,
the
yeah. We
what the hell did I
include
sign up for? Thank you.
You know, so yes, it does not go unnoticed.
There's a couple of Ways and Means hearings that we'll be attending to push for more money from the Magic Money Tree up in Beacon Hill, but they're coming up in May and June. Actually, May, I think. And we're going to ride herd after our conversation with Senator Mark to make sure
I
something.
followed up with John Gould today. He came in to talk to me, and he promised to be following up with me
Good.
and you.
And we'll get Joe Comerford involved as well, so,
Excellent.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
This is a hot mic, so I'm not going to say anything. Too many careers have been ruined.
Yeah.
Is there something else?
Thank you for the update,
Thanks,
Larry.
Larry.
All right.
Chat with you later.
That's all for appointments this evening. We'll,
Yes.
we can now move
I
on to our
got
agenda.
spoiled the last two
Yeah.
meetings.
So we have an appointment for Maggie Miklovich as an election worker.
Yeah. That came from the town clerk. She had asked for that appointment.
We'll, make a motion to appoint Maggie Miklovich as an election worker for the town of Buckland.
I'll second that.
Any further? All in favor? Aye. And it, looks like the planning board has taken the tree and gotten somebody to hop on board with them.
And he did actually go to a meeting last night and met everyone, and John stopped in this
Still wants
morning.
to stay?
Well, that was what John stopped to give me kind of a letter saying that they found him to be very engaged and very eager and really wants to act on that before he changes his mind.
And he's lived 1.5 years in.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yes, he actually lives on my road.
Okay, so we have an appointment for Matthew Gignick.
Maybe? Gignac? I'm not sure of the pronunciation entirely, but
I'm sorry, Matthew, if you're watching, and I butchered it. For the planning board, I'll make a motion to appoint Matthew.
I second that.
Any further? All in favor?
Aye.
We also have from the library, we have a letter of hire for a library assistant.
I think I gave you a copy of the libraries, basically. So you may recall our librarian resigned, our head librarian. In light of the budget situation that we're in, the trustees have elected to hire a temporary library assistant at the rate of pay of $17 per hour for approximately 15 hours a week to help the current assistant kind of maintain services at the library. I believe the trustees are planning on sort of volunteering their time to do some of the other work of the librarian, just to try to save some funds. So this is for Elizabeth Veit, who would be the long-term substitute library assistant.
Excellent. All right, we'll make a motion to accept the employment agreement for Elizabeth Veit with the Buckland Public Library.
I second that.
Further? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we have the fiscal year 26 sewer rate.
This is as your sewer commissioner hats. So they're hoping to get the bills out this week, I think. So we finally have nailed everything down because Shelburne has some new folks trying to figure things out, and I think we finally have all of our ducks in a row. Mike came in to work with Alicia, and Alicia now knows how to set a sewer rate, which is wonderful. So the sewer rate for levy year 2026 looks to be at 0.1055.
Okay. Do we know, is that
there's
an
a-
increase from last year? Plantings
Yes,
or-
it looked, do I have last year's on there? I am not sure if the paperwork on the documents to sign had any sort of a last year versus this year? I'm really not sure. Don't know.
It's not 2020, it's just,
We're a year behind. They're a year behind
Oh,
for
okay.
sewer billing is how we do it.
okay, so you kinda know what,
You have to use the water usage
right,
from the
right,
prior year.
Okay.
It's a little
It's
confusing
the whole thing.
to know what year we're in. Joe and I half the time have no idea what
Yeah,
year
I
I'm in.
know, and then when they say we're in fiscal year 2026, no, we're,
I don't know, Clint, if there's anything
I
in
was
the.
just curious.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that, and I'm not in the sewer district myself, so I don't even know.
I'll make a motion to approve the fiscal year 26 sewer rate of .1055.
second that?
Further? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Documents to sign, we have a street use permit for the Marlboro Morris Men from May 9th, 2026. Assuming they'll be out in front of McCuskers.
He has in the back of his request, looks like 40 more Stancers, front of McCuskers, 4 to 5:30 on Saturday, May 9th, and I guess there also will stand in the alley between McCuskers and Moe's. And he did have a permission from McCuskers, or sort of their blessing on that as well. It looks like 30 years now they've been doing this. So, guess they've got it down.
Make a motion to accept the street use permit for the Marlboro Morris Men from May 9th, 2026.
I'll second that.
Any further? All in favor?
Aye.
Alright, we have a letter to the Shelburne Sewer Commissioners regarding the fiscal year 26 assessment from Buckland.
Did I, maybe didn't put a copy in there of that, so,
Want to read it out loud?
well, it's in the documents to
Okay.
sign folder. It's, so typically, every year we do send them, a letter kind of outlining what payments have been made, what their balance remaining is. So that's basically what this is. It will be going out to them this month.
And are we meeting next
Is it in
Wednesday?
there?
Purchasing Sewer Commission.
Got it?
Mm-hmm.
265,150.
Oh, it's actually, the letter, actually, there's my mistake. So the letter actually is signed by the accountant. What you have there is the warrant to the collector that's for our sewer rates. So you're not actually signing a letter to the
Okay,
commissioners. It's basically you're signing the warrant for the rate you just approved. And the letter goes out from our accountant,
Okay.
actually.
okay,
So,
okay.
So we don't need to do anything then with that letter?
correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent.
I was told it was signed by you until I actually received the letter and said, oh, no, it says here it's the accountant, and I never adjusted that on this, so my apologies.
Okay.
One less thing to do.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's now the easiest thing we had tonight. We have our minutes from February 24th. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
I'll second that.
Okay, go ahead.
Any further? All in favor?
Aye.
And we also have our vendor and payroll warrants, which is gonna be 26-19. I'll make a motion to accept.
I second that.
Further? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think we had enough, so I'm not gonna have anything not reasonably anticipated 48 hours in advance of our meeting. Select board member concerns?
I was approached by a resident who is hoping that we have the crosswalks repainted this year in front of,
They're repainted every year. They just don't hold up for very long.
no, I know.
Yeah, they usually get done in the spring once
I think,
the snow's gone.
I
Yeah,
think they
this-
make it twice.
Yeah.
This one didn't seem to hold up as well as
Hmm.
other years. I don't know what, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is, I really hope that, and we've talked about it, but the stop sign, I don't know how many people I see fly through that stop sign on State Street. And it would be nice to have one of those ones with a little bit of
We,
lights.
we spoke about that, and I have to figure out where we're gonna pay for that.
Yeah,
Because it's
right, I
actually fairly
understand.
pricey, believe it or not.
Yeah, no,
But,
I,
but even when, they try to watch it, if they sit up there, you can't catch everybody and see it happen. People change when they see a cruiser there, maybe just want to sign a lot better, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree that crosswalk, I see children
Yeah.
walking home from BSE, and I sometimes cringe because they may not always stop like they should, and they dart into that street, and it's a busy street, and
It is.
people do go very fast.
especially when the trees fill up there, you know.
But that's how you get off the bridge. If they stop there, you've got a few seconds to at least get off the bridge. If not, it's hard getting off the bridge some days. You know, So it
That's
is
why
important.
that sign was actually put in there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the one at the bottom coming up South Street too, yeah. Yep.
One
So-
last thing, again, I want to shout out to our highway crew. I saw Anthony when I was out going for a walk, and he said they worked 8 weekends in a row.
They did.
It's, you know.
It was a tough, the timing of the storms this year was definitely a little
At
tough.
night and
Yes, yeah, no,
Yeah.
for
We
sure.
were out and about this last weekend, and I
Yep.
think the weekend before was their one weekend that they had off. I made sure to call Anthony just so he didn't feel like he wasn't.
You're
know.
so kind, Clint. You're
very
so
funny.
kind. So, yes, agreed.
All right, town administrators, short report.
Really, my report was budget, was my biggest hurdle this last couple of weeks, and will continue to be the focus. Of course, in between lots of other issues that come through this building on the daily. But that was my sort of, what I had for tonight was budget.
thank you.
Excellent. I like it. Nice and short. Great job. Public comment? Hearing none. Our next meeting will be March 24th at 5 PM. We'll be here, hopefully a little bit shorter than this one, but I doubt it.
I don't know.
Are we still having the sewer board?
Yeah, that's the 17th, March 17th. You have a
Yes.
sewer commissioners joint meeting with Shelburne.
Are they actually gonna be here in person?
I think so. That's the plan. I have to follow up with Heidi to make sure.
Okay.
But
All right, I will make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, and have a good night.
Now, what's that sewer commissioner meeting gonna be at 5 also, or?
Yes, yes. So tomorrow at
We're doing
9.
5 or
at
5:30?
I think 5, did it say 5:30?
I thought it-
I'll let you know for sure when Heidi gets back to me. I can't remember if she said 5 or 5:30.